It was my senior day of college basketball, and my mom and I are hand in hand walking out, and he stops me and he's like, "Gabe," he's like, "I love you." And I'm like, dude, let's go. Like, just the power of words right there. Like, my dad speaking into me that moment, him just saying, like, "I love you, man." And now as a dad, like, you don't take for granted the moments that you get to tell your kids you love them, right? Don't take for granted the time that you get to speak into your players. And it's like the power of words and the power of relationship.
What's up, beautiful people? Welcome to the Dear Young Athlete podcast, where we talk to coaches and athletes about their journeys and what advice they would have for their younger selves. I'm your host, Jacob Thompson. I'm a speaker, author, and aspiring Paralympian. I've had the privilege and the opportunity to interview over 25 high-level leaders that share their stories and their insights on leadership and how to be successful. We have another great episode coming right up, so let's get into it. Today, I'm joined by a very special guest. This man was a state championship basketball player in high school, a multiple all-conference player in college, and he's played and coached in multiple national tournaments. Above all that, though, he is a husband, he is a father, and he is a man of God. And I cannot wait to have this conversation with the head coach at Bethel University, Gabe Miller. Gabe, how are you?
Hey, man, JT, I'm doing all right. How you doing today?
Doing good. Can't complain.
Awesome. Appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to this conversation for a little bit.
Oh, of course. So, Gabe, you played college basketball. You played in the national tournament. You're now a collegiate head coach. But bring us back to the very beginning. How did you fall in love with sports?
Yeah, that's a great question. So grew up in South Central Indiana, and growing up in Indiana, I think you have to be ready to play basketball. I think often you see those pictures of hoops, with driveways, snow blowed and everything, and kids out there shooting in the middle of winter. So not only that did we have that going for us, but I also grew up in a household of four other brothers. So three older brothers and one younger brother, and that's what we did. I'm from a small town, like I said, in South Central Indiana, and all I remember legit growing up was going to basketball camps, going to my brother's basketball games, going to their baseball games all summer, traveling with all-star baseball teams, playing tennis. So sports growing up was through and through what we did as a family and kind of what we were known for around town.
You just pretty much like made me think of the movie Hoosiers. Or do you say Hoosiers or Hoosiers?
Yeah, I say Hoosiers.
Okay, Hoosiers.
Yeah, I say Hoosiers. I don't know.
Great movie, and whenever I see a driveway hoop, I think about that.
Yeah, funny story. The team that movie's made about, Milan, we actually played them every single year back in high school. So we used to go to their gym, and they still have like that scoreboard hanging up as you walk in and everything. So it's a pretty cool story to be able to play in that type of gym and everything, like Indiana high school basketball is known for.
Yeah, I love it. Take us into high school. What sports did you play in, and what was it like for you?
Yeah, like I said, we were doing everything growing up. So when I finally got to the point of high school of making decisions of what sports, I was from a small school, hometown of about 2,000 people. So we didn't have football, which made the decision not to play football pretty easy. I don't know if my mom would have even let us play football, but she's a saint on other reasons. But more than that, so all of us actually played tennis. All of us actually played basketball, and we played baseball. So when we got to the high school level, that's just kind of what we did. I don't know if it was because we never did training lessons or never had an individual workout trainer or anything like that. It was more so I learned through imitating what my brothers were doing and what their coaches were doing and just going to camps and everything. So yeah, multi-sport athlete, which I think is a huge advantage to kids nowadays, and especially back then. But yeah, so it was those three sports growing up, and like I said, once we got to the summer, it was then AAU wasn't really anything big in terms of basketball. Baseball then went into like the summer, and you went to summer basketball camps and travel baseball, and it was just kind of a 12-month thing that our family did from the day that I remember being able to go and watch my brothers do what they were doing.
Mm. So I have two questions for you, kind of
Yeah.
piggybacking on what you said. Was tennis a spring sport for you?
Tennis was a fall sport. So
Okay.
boys
So,
tennis was a fall sport, which then I did that honestly. I think my parents were like, "Hey, you guys have to do something. You're going to be active." And I'm not a cross country runner. I don't want to run long distance for every single day. So we chose tennis, and that's just what we did. We didn't really understand tennis until we got a little bit older and everything, which made it fun to learn a different type of sport.
yeah, yeah. My family was big into tennis as well, but in Minnesota, it's a
Yeah.
spring sport. So you
Oh,
can
okay. Okay. Okay.
play
Yeah.
baseball and tennis.
Yeah. Yeah. It worked out
Um,
well because we could do tennis, basketball, and then go into spring baseball season for the high school sports season.
so a lot of parents now believe like, oh, I need to have my kids specialize in a sport if they're going to be successful. You're a college coach, so you actually recruit players and look for talent. And you just said there's actually a lot of value in being a multi-sport athlete. So, how do you think about that in the current climate of youth and even high school sports?
JT, man, I am not smart enough to answer this question. I have my beliefs. I don't know if they're right, but it's what I believe. I'm not ever going to say specializing in a sport is wrong. If a kid wants to play basketball all year long, like more power to him. I just think there's just more adaptation that the body, humanly, genetically speaking, like the human body can adapt and develop different type of, strengths and tendencies to avoid injuries and things when you learn just different types of movements, right? The movements
Yeah,
that you do on the basketball court with your lower body, your upper body, and thinking and everything is totally different than trying to hit a baseball, right?
yeah,
Also trying to hit a tennis ball or moving or whatever that is. And then you can get into, football or track and field. I think the more well-rounded a student athlete can be, I think that helps their athleticism and their development, but also more so their mental side of the game as well.
mm,
I just think you learn, different types of aspects about the game, right? If you look at basketball, basketball is a team sport, and you have to learn how to play together with four other guys on the court and how to be in different spots. And if one guy is in the wrong spot, then it screws up everything, right? Well, tennis, you could play singles, and now it's more of a mind game with yourself. Same thing with baseball. Baseball is a team sport, but it's also one pitcher and one hitter going against each other in a one-on-one type of setting,
mm,
but then in a team dynamic. So I just think the more well-rounded somebody can be, I enjoy when it comes to recruiting, finding multi-sport athletes, and it's fun to go watch them in recruiting during the year play their different sport. Right. Because
yeah.
their role on the basketball court might be totally different than if they were, quarterback on the football team or midfielder at the soccer level or whatever that is, and just seeing them, how they move, how they interact. I just think overall athletically and mentally, when it comes to just human development, I think we're just called to be multi-sport athletes and move in multi-directional planes.
That's really good to hear from a college coach, I think. Um, and I mean, I agree for sure. I'm not a big fan of this need to specialize. I think there could be more burnout, more potential injury. Um, but I love what you said there too. Just the reminder, it's more about the person.
Mm, yeah,
And when you even can see, like, well, how do you act on the football field and on the baseball diamond, tennis court? Could say a lot about you, your character, your leadership,
yeah,
and that goes so much further than how talented you might be. So that's a good word.
yeah.
Sidetracking from your story. So bring us in then. You start thinking about college. Uh, what does that look like? And how are you choosing a sport,
Yeah.
choosing a school, etc.? Hey, real quick, if you're enjoying the episode, I want to ask you to go on whatever platform you're on and follow and subscribe. Give us a rating and review us and help this podcast reach more people. You can head to the website 1020words.com/DYA. That's TEN20words.com/DYA to learn more about us, check out our merchandise, or figure out how you can have me come speak to your team or program, or potentially be a guest on the podcast. I look forward to connecting with you. Let's get back into the episode.
Yeah, yeah. So in high school, I think, again, I was, like I said, small town, pretty successful high school career. I think I always thought, looking back, I was always way better than what I thought I was. And a lot of that went into where I was in my faith and kind of that trajectory that I'm sure we'll get into later on. But I always loved basketball. One of my older brothers played college basketball, so he was 6 years older than I am, and I remember as a sixth, seventh grader going and watching him play. And we'd drive up there as a family on a Wednesday night or a Saturday afternoon, and I'd sit in the bleachers and watch him play, and it's like, man, like this is college basketball. And in my lens, right? In my lens, I'm sitting there, they're college basketball players. They're on the same level as the guys at Duke. And just in my view, right? Like, I just think they're college basketball players. So from an early age of, 10, 11, 12, 13 years old, that experience shaped what I was wanting to do. I tell people often, going up and watching my brother play, I always considered him one of my role models growing up. And, seeing my family wanting to go watch him play, seeing my grandparents going up on Wednesdays, seeing them going up on Saturdays, I knew early on, I want to do this. I want to experience what he was experiencing on those Wednesday nights when family came and watched him play still after high school, and people and students were coming out to watch him play. And he was playing a high level basketball where he was at, but it was still a really, really cool experience that he was getting after high school. So when it came to my college decision, again, like I said, I think I was very naive, very kind of egotistical in my thinking of that, hey, I'm better than what I thought I was. So during my senior year of high school recruiting, I was being recruited by kind of all different levels, from Division II to some NAIAs and some Division III schools. And I didn't know any better, and I didn't have great advice from, people outside of it. And it was, okay, I'm just going to lock in on these Division II schools. So early on, I was telling these Division III teams and coaches, hey, I'm not interested. Appreciate you coming watching me. But I don't want to, pursue this. Well, long story short, the summer before move in, about 2 weeks before we were supposed to move in, I had committed to a Division II school and thought that that's where I was going to go. And I pulled into the parking lot, and this is kind of the journey of my faith as well, kind of that pivotal turning moment for me. Pulled into the parking lot August evening to go in and play open gym with the guys like I had been doing the last few weeks. And I was sitting in the parking lot getting ready to walk in, and an audible voice came over, and I heard it clear as day, Gabe, you're not supposed to be here. And like it caught me off guard. My entire life up to that point, I had claimed to be a Christian. I think I was always praying for more success than it was pursuing a type of relationship with Jesus. But it was God like grabbing hold of me and in this constant pursuit. And I just started crying. I called my mom and I'm like, Mom, like, I think God just spoke to me, right? And she's like, well, what do you want to do? And I'm like, I don't think I'm supposed to be here. I don't know, but I need to come home and we need to figure this thing out. So from that moment on, it was like, all right, this relationship with God and the pursuit and him as like this pursuer and lover of his creation started to become more reality to me. So I got home and we sat and talked, and I'm like, I don't know, but I just know I'm not supposed to be there. There was this one school back home at Anderson that the assistant coach and head coach had been probably recruiting me the hardest all year long. And I always just kind of blew him off. And I'm like, for some reason, I just feel like I'm supposed to call them and have a conversation. Like I said, we're a week before move in. So like timeline wise, it doesn't completely make sense. We always plan, and God kind of laughs about it, right? So I called them up that afternoon. I'm like, hey, here's what's happening. I don't think I'm supposed to be at this school. Do you guys still have any interest in me? I know I told you no a long time ago. And they're like, yeah, let's go. Like nothing was promised, nothing was guaranteed. It was a lower level, right? So I thought I was supposed to play at Division II. God ended up sending me to Division III school, which praise the Lord, that happened. And so that's kind of how the college decision was made. It wasn't any, bells and whistles. It was legit God grabbing a hold of me, telling me, you got to get this thing figured out. And so thankfully he did. Thankful to have some good parents that guided me along the way. Thankful to have two awesome coaches at Anderson that accepted me with open arms. And long story short, that's where I reconnected with my wife as well during those 4 years, and had an awesome career. So that's how I ended up at Anderson. And it's a huge moment of my life that I often tell. And when I give a testimony or anything, that's one of the first things that I always start with, was that moment in the parking lot where God just spoke and he's like, nope, we're doing a complete 180 turn, and you're going to start living for me, Gabe.
Yeah. I love that. There's so much that you said that I wanna unpack a little bit. One, did you go into the open gym, or did
I,
you just like turn around?
I completely left. I completely
Wow,
left. I completely left. And funny
crazy.
enough, like that was 2007. I think I graduated in 2007. So 2007, August 2007. And I had not been back to that gym or that school because I was like, I'm never going back here. Like God's completely doing a 360 or a 180 on me. And
Wow.
3 years ago, and when I was at Wisconsin Parkside at the D2 level, we made it to the national tournament. We'll get into that later, but we actually went to that school for the host site for the national tournament. So the moment I stepped into that gym, I was like, all right, God, like you are in control of this, like
Yeah.
full circle. 12 years later, you've got me at the national tournament at the school that I thought I was supposed to go to, but knowing if I went there, I wouldn't be where I was at today. So it was a really cool moment that I just got to sit there and, have a moment of worship to thank him for that.
Wow. Was it pretty humbling to call up those Anderson coaches and say, will you still take me?
It was, and it's a lesson that I still keep hold of today. Just sometimes swallowing that pill and humbling ourselves, and we're not better than what we think we are, man. But we're still loved more than we know.
Hmm, that's so good.
Yeah.
Is it safe to say, like, you had a vision from a young age that you wanted to be a college basketball player, and that likely informed the way you approached high school
Mm,
and worked hard? I'm assuming probably stayed out of some trouble because you had a vision of where you wanted to go.
yeah. Yeah. I think. I think so. I wouldn't say I was perfect in high school. I think I was still making wrong decisions in high school. I think I was claiming to be a Christian, going to church, but I also was 15, 16, 17-year old, immature kid that was praying for success and not praying for a relationship. So I won't say that I was always making the right decisions. I grew up in a small town in Indiana, and we won a high school state championship. So like when you do that, in a small town, people know who you are, and there's a lot of perks that come along with that, worldly perks. But yeah, I think I always also had the mindset of I want to play college sports, and so being in the weight room or getting shots up or whatever the case was, I was super blessed because the church that we went to, we actually built during this time frame like an addition onto the church. And they made the multi-purpose room. It was actually a gymnasium. So the church that we went to, that we lived 10 minutes away, I had access 24/7 essentially to this gym that I'd be in all the time to get extra shots or have open gyms or whatever the case. So the resources when I had growing up were pretty awesome in terms of in comparison to others. So yeah, I think there was that intrinsic motivation of I know what my brother got to experience, so how can I get there, type of thing. And not saying I always did it right whatsoever. I
Yeah.
am far from that. But also, I agree, like you said, there was this vision, and it was okay. How do we get from A to B as quick as possible?
Yeah. Yeah, I think that that's almost easy to understand from a sports standpoint. Like, hey, I want to play in college. I know where I want to go, and then I have to act a certain way in the present to get there.
That's right. That's right. That's right. That's right. And for
This
me,
pot,
a lot of it was legit, honestly, like imitation. And I love that word imitation when it comes to leadership. And I know we'll get into it, but I was just imitating what my older brother did, right? Like being completely transparent with it. I remember him having my mom go to Sam's Club and buy a bag of protein powder and him start taking protein shakes. So he's doing protein shakes. I'm going to start doing protein shakes. And just this idea of imitation. Well, he thought rebounding was important in high school. So rebounding is going to be important to me, or whatever the case is. I was just imitating what I knew I was wanting to get by people who already had what I was dreaming about.
yeah, yeah, and I think a big theme of this podcast is taking what happens in
Mm.
sports and
So,
extracting it into life. And
yeah,
it's like, I think we understand that in sports, but sometimes not in life. And
yeah.
it's like, what if we take that same approach and say, here's who I want to be in
Amen.
5 years. I want to be
Amen.
this type of a person, maybe a father, a husband, a business owner, or a leader. And it's like, well, then you better start now doing
That-
the things that are going to lead you there, just like you would for basketball, you
That's right.
know.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Um, that's so good. So, okay, keeping going with your story,
Yeah.
I I want you to bring us into your world as a college basketball player, but I also want you to do so with the context that I think it's fitting in your story, right? You thought I'm going D2, I'm going D2. And I think now with social media, high schoolers are dealing with that more than ever. Like, you want the cool Instagram posts, you want to say, oh, I'm committed to here or there. And you just want to commit to the best place, and people kind of make fun of Division 3 sports like on social media, like you played D3 college football and got a CTE for 100 fans or whatever. I think that's a pretty big misconception, so I want you to tell us about your college athletic career, um, and kind of the truth about it.
Yeah. Yeah, no doubt. One of my favorite go-to lines, I'm a quote guy. One of the favorite things that I always talk about is comparison's the thief of joy, right? I think it's all relative levels. In recruiting, I always talk to recruits and their families, and I just say, go to the level, right? Be humble enough to go to the level that you can be most successful at. Right, not what everybody else wants to see on social media, or not what your friends won or whatever the case is. Go to the level that you can be most successful at. And for me, when I made the decision to go from D2 to D3, right, in terms of what I thought, I went in with a mindset of, hey, this D3 is going to be easy, right? Like I was, high school state champ and top 60, whatever, all these different things. And you get there. And if you look at the box score, my first 2 or 3 college basketball games, I didn't even get on the court. And I'm sitting there on the bench, and I'm like, what? And I always tell this story too. And one of my first conference games, my freshman year, I remember going up against Defiance, big time program back in the day, and I'm bringing the ball up against this guard who's a senior, and he just takes it from me, and he goes down and scores it, and I'm like, oh man, like these guys can play. And again, I think it's all relative, right? Like we love the game of basketball no matter what level you're at. The guys at Bethel on our team love the game of basketball, right? I'm just talking about the love of the game, the same as the guys at Duke or Minnesota or UCLA or wherever it is. The love of the game is the same. And I love that thought process, right? The love of the game is the same, but just be, true to it, right? Like God just blessed them with a little bit more athleticism and height and natural ability, and like that's okay. Keep it relative. Comparison's the thief of joy. Go to where you can be most successful at, and I think that was a huge thought process in my career. Those first 2, 3, 4, 5 games of basketball of like, all right, these guys can play. Right. And, as I get into it and I see different levels and, going to a Bethel football game right now, like it's pretty awesome, eye-opening, like how good D3 football is. Right. And at the highest level, these guys can play. Right. At a school where, they just need the opportunity. A bunch of these guys could play potentially Division I, Division II football. They just chose Bethel for a different reason or a different purpose. And I think that's also plays into the context of there's guys, in our league or that I've coached or whatever that can easily move up levels. It just has to be the right fit, right? They just have to have that right opportunity. And sometimes it might not come. But to be able to be at a level where you can be most successful at, I think you have to be humble enough to, be true to who you are, have a little bit of self-awareness, and have some tough conversations with, people in your circle. But I think that's a huge aspect in recruiting nowadays is just comparison's a thief of joy. Go where you can be most successful at, no matter what level that is.
It's kind of funny. This is not to throw shade at anyone, but when I was a Bethel student, we had a Division I transfer come in, and everyone was like, "Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, like he's gonna dominate!" And he was kind of a bust and got benched like halfway through the year and left after the season. And it's like, yeah, you be surprised. I think a lot of people would be surprised thinking, "Oh, D3 is gonna be easy," or NAIA is gonna be easy because and it's like you said, how do you fit in the system? How do you um how do you play?
Yep.
Like it's not as simple as being good and then dominating.
Yep. That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
So you played in your all conference twice, played in the national tournament. Just bring us into the glory days a little bit with also the focus on what made you then want to become a coach.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, like I said, you kind of heard the story of the first 2 or 3, 4 games of my college career, and like just being honest, I wasn't thinking this humility aspect. Like I wasn't happy, and I'm like, this isn't for me. This is the wrong spot. I'm going to quit, and all these things. So the first 2 years of college, like. I was building awesome relationships with the teammates, really liked our coach, had an awesome relationship with the assistant coaches, was really diving into who I was as a person. It took a couple months of college to like get away from old habits at the high school level in terms of just who I was in my relationship with Christ and everything. And started dating this girl as well, second semester of my freshman year. And she kind of like grabbed a hold of me, and she was going to church and she was pursuing this relationship with Christ. And she was obviously way more mature than I was. And she just told me one day, like, Gabe, like your habits and what you say you want to accomplish don't align. And thankful to her, I got wise enough and I asked her to marry me 4 years later. But that conversation was like just a turning point of my life. And it took 3, 4 months to like really mature and in terms of not just athletically, right, on the basketball court and how I was working out and how I was eating, but it was more so just my relationship with Christ and putting away the thoughts of I have to be successful to have value in people's eyes. And it was more so, no, like you are loved by a God who just has constant pursued you. And that then allows you to have more freedom, right? And to play free. And so my career, I think it took 2 years for this really to sink in. And it was a conversation with the head coach after my sophomore year, where we had just went 15-12 both seasons. My freshman year, we were 15-12. My sophomore year, we were 15-12, and just average. And I think the average success we were having on the basketball court was very similar to the average lifestyle that I was living, right? I was like just kind of wishy-washy. Like, scripture talks about like, it's like you can't have lukewarm faith. And I think I was just living a lukewarm, like some days I was hot, some days I was cold, some days I'd work out, some days I wouldn't eat right. Like all these things, lukewarm, just lifestyle. And I walked into his office and I just told him, I was like, hey coach, like, I just don't know if this is for me. And I was like, I think I might give it up. And he's like, all right. He's like, take a couple days to think about it. But he's like, if you come back, he's like, I want you for the next 2 years to do everything you can to commit to this. I want you to work out. I want you to eat right. I want you to get individual workouts. I want you to get extra shots up, whatever it is. I want you to go to church on Sunday. I want you to go to chapels. And it was just a complete, like I said, 180 shift of a lifestyle from that conversation on, where after that and being fully all in on all levels and in a constant pursuit of Christ, in my relationship with him, in a constant pursuit of my girlfriend at the time, Erica, who, yes, like I said, ended up marrying her and everything, but like eliminating distractions that took away with what I valued, right? So figuring out what are the 3, 4, 5 things that I value as a person, right, that we're called to in faith. And I think that's, our relationship with Christ. It was getting my degree. It was basketball. It was, okay, if nothing else is in alignment with those things, they need to be eliminated. And so for 2 years, I went full in. I went all in with eating right. I went all in with lifting, hired a personal trainer, hired a skills coach, all these things. And the moment that I did that, I think that changed the, quote unquote success that we were having on the basketball court. My junior year, then, like you mentioned, like we had an awesome season. We won the conference. I was all conference player, team MVP, whatever, like all these awards. But like it was a byproduct of making the decision to go all in and to not worry about there's a book called Chase the Lion, right? And it's like, or burn the boats and all these type of sayings that people have. And it's like, can you burn the boats without knowing what the outcome's going to be, right? And that was the thought process now looking back of like, you went all in without knowing if this was going to pay off. And so for 2 years, like I said, went all in, made it to the national tournament my junior year. won the first round game, beat St. Thomas, upset them, upset of the tournament and all these things, and then got beat in the second round. But it was just a byproduct of going all in, eliminating distractions, and just pursuing who I was wanting to be. Those habits and my vision and goals had to be aligned. And same thing my senior year, and was MVP, was all conference that year as well, and had the opportunity to be male athlete of the year at the school. So it was just really cool, quote unquote, success that was a byproduct of the work that was being put in. But also on the flip side, right? Like my relationship with Christ, I was all in, right? I was reading my Bible daily. I was going to church. And it was like, as I was pursuing this relationship now, like other things didn't matter, right? I was getting away from what, the approval of others. It wasn't a driving thing in my head anymore, and getting off social media and not worrying about what other people thought about me going to church or whatever the case was. And my relationship then with Christ was improving. The success on the basketball court was improving. My relationship with Erica was improving. And it was just a byproduct, again, of just this lifestyle of eliminating distractions and being all in with what you value and living this value centered lifestyle with everything.
And what was striking to me is kind of what's going on in your heart unfolds in your life. And in your heart, you describe kind of a lukewarmness or a inconsistency. And then that showed up in basketball and probably in other areas of life too. How cool to have a coach call you to a higher standard.
Wow.
I think that's very unique. And I think a lot of guys know if I lock in and if I change a few habits,
Mm-hmm.
I can be a much better version of myself. But a lot of guys at the same time would not do that.
Yep.
You could have just taken a few days and been like, I think I'm gonna quit, and
Right.
just stayed the same.
That's right. Yep.
Why, what is the difference between that decision? If like you could summarize it, why do you think you rose to what your coach was inviting you into? Hey man, cool shirt. Oh, thank you, man. What is that logo? I've never seen it before. Yeah, it's actually based off 1 Timothy 4:8, which says physical training is good, but training in godliness is better, having value in this life and the next. The 8 is like an infinity because when you have a relationship with God, it lasts forever. Oh, you believe in Jesus or what? Yeah, bro, I play the game all for God's glory. He changed my life and I want to do what I can to glorify Him. Is it a brand or whose logo is that? Yeah, it's actually the theme verse for a cool podcast I listen to called Dear Young Athlete. It's a sports leadership podcast. You should check it out. So where can I get one? Yeah, you just go to their website, 1020words.com/DYA. That's TEN20words.com/DYA. If you use the code DYA20 with all caps, you can get 20% off your first order. They have t-shirts, shorts, hoodies, crew necks, you name it, anything you want. Yeah, man, I guess I would like to learn more. Oh yeah, man, we got Bible study later with some of the guys. If you want to come check it out. All right, bro. See you later. All right, bro. Peace.
Yeah, because of that right there, because somebody spoke into it, right? Because you heard somebody calling you to your potential, right? My mission as a head coach is to be in the fight with our guys to help them realize their purpose and maximize their potential for greater kingdom impact. And it's that right there. Realize your purpose in life and maximize your potential. And to be able to hear a coach who chose you to be a part of the basketball team now calling you into something that he already sees, it gives you the freedom, right, now to go after it because he's calling you into that, right? And I'm a big fan of the story of Moses, right? And when Moses gets called to lead the Israelites out of Egypt and everything, and God speaks to him and calls him out of it, right? And he says, "Hey, you're going to be the leader." Well, Moses' first reaction is what? Moses' first reaction is to say, "I can't speak well, God. Like, no, like use somebody else." Like our human instinct, right, is to say why we're not good enough, right? Like it's to fall back into what people say on social media about us or what other people think or the approval of others, right? So God, creator, speaks to Moses and he's like, lead them out of Israel or lead them out of Egypt, right? Take them out of slavery. You're going to do it. And he's like, no, like I can't, like not me, Lord. Like I can't speak. And well, ultimately God saw the potential, right, of Moses, and he was able to continue to pursue him, continue to show him that he is in control and he can do that. And I think that's the same relationship, right? The same way that God called Moses into something more, the same words a coach can speak into a player and call them into something. And I think that's the transformational coaching lifestyle, where it's not transactional. It's not what can you do for me? It's no, let's work together and let's help you reach your potential for who you were created to be.
That is inspiring, even thinking now as a dad. How am I gonna, call my kids to their potential when they're living below it? Man, that's amazing. So, what took you from player to coach?
Yeah. Yeah. Full circle moment again. And I just, if I'm able to ever share my testimony, it's like God's a constant pursuer, right? So graduated after 4 years of basketball. Like I said, awesome career and all these accolades and everything. And ended up playing some semi-pro ball during the summer after graduation, got married. So there was like a lot of moving parts. And during my semi-pro, like some games and some practices, I just realized like this professional level of basketball went away from team, right? And it was always about the individual. So it really put a sour taste in my mouth. And I was like, I don't want to do this. I don't want to be a part of basketball. Basketball has been a part of my life for 20 years now. Like I need something different. So actually like quit basketball, gave it up, and got into the nonprofit world and was an athletic director at a boys and girls club essentially. And for 3 years did that. And one afternoon, got a phone call from the assistant coach at Anderson, who recruited me in high school. And he called me and he's like, "Gabe, what's up, man? How are you?" And I'm like, "Coach, like, what's going on?" Like, he's like, "I don't know if you've been following me." And this was before social media was really like super, super popular. And he's like, my wife and I actually move up to the Chicagoland area, and I'm the head coach and athletic director at this small school in the Chicagoland area. And he's like, we've got an assistant coach position opening up. A former teammate of yours is actually leaving, and your name came up in terms of somebody that I trust and somebody that I'd love to see if they want to get into coaching. And like I said, I was married. We've been on our own for 3 years now, moved back home to where all of our families were at. And so it again stemmed from a full circle moment. A coach who pursued me, who I said no to early on, right? Thinking I was better than what I was, actually offered me my first job. So we went up on a Friday, visited, had a great conversation and prayed about it. And God again spoke to us. And yeah, on Sunday evening, we accepted it and got into college coaching back in 2013, 2014.
And what's funny is like we didn't pre-discuss
Yeah,
that. I'm hearing this for the first time. But I've interviewed probably 30 coaches and myself included. Almost everyone's first coaching job was presented by a former coach
right.
to
That's
them.
right. That's exactly right.
And it just every time I do an interview, I'm reminded like the person that you are right now is writing the future of who you're gonna be.
Yeah,
And
good.
it's just so easy to show up and be like, oh, whatever, I'm just a freshman
Yeah,
and not take it seriously, or even a senior and be like, oh, I'm in college, I'm just gonna have fun and whatever. But it's like who you are right now is
amen.
going to determine maybe somebody offering you a job in
That's
the
right.
future,
That's exactly.
somebody recommending you or referring you.
That's right. That's right. That's right. I often think, man, like this, when I was in college, I was this arrogant freshman, like had no idea, freshman, sophomore year. And like I'm actually being coached by my future boss, right? And like he sees something in me during those 2 years that we were together that like for whatever reason he just again it comes back to God saw something in Moses that Moses didn't see in himself, right? How the coach sees you in recruiting, like just the power of relationships and speaking into people, and just having truthful conversations and calling people into something, right? Calling them out of something previously into something more and being able to speak their potential to life. Man, like relationships. Like that's what it's about, brother.
hmm, amen. You you have brought us into your faith journey. Obviously, that's so huge for you. Just want to invite if there's anything else that you really want to add about your own faith journey or what you would kind of tell you at that age
Yeah.
in college and stuff like that.
Yeah. Yeah, I do. I think it's just a full aspect of this religion versus relationships, right? And we've talked relationships, and it's pretty clear in my story, and I'm sure in yours as well, and a lot of people that we talk to, right? The places that we are today, who we are today, like you just said, is because of the relationships in our lives. And a relationship is built on trust, and I always define trust as time spent together. How much do you talk and how many physical touches do you actually have and spending time together and building trust? And, when it comes to faith, like God is a constant pursuer of relationship with us. Like by character, right? God is relational. And we spoke about family as a team a couple weeks ago, and we just defined it, right? Like, what is family to us and all these things? And I'm like, guys, like, by his own character, God is relational. God the Father, God the Son, God the Holy Spirit. Like that's the Trinity. Right from the get go, we see a perfect vision of what relationship is and how to do it right. And I do. I just think that is a huge aspect for me when it comes to my faith, when it comes to coaching, when it comes to being a dad or a husband, when it comes to building relationships with other people. It's all about relationships. It's all about being able to spend time together, having truthful conversations, having touch points, because that's what God demonstrates. God imitates, right? Comes back to that word again, imitation. Like God has already imitated to us what it means to be in relationship and what it means to pursue him, what it means to love sacrificially, what it means to follow him. Like we're now called into imitation of that. And there's a perfect model. And now we just have to consistently, through our habits, right, through what we do, through what we value, have to be in alignment with it. And yeah, are we going to mess up? Heck yeah. Like we're going to screw up all the time. And that's what grace is for. And that's what mercy is. But it's all about relationships. And, my journey, my faith walk is just that. It's about a relationship. It's about striving to, pursue this relationship. And it takes time and it takes talk and it takes touches.
That's
Yeah.
good. I love what you said too. And hopefully some of your players are still listening at this point. And being
They
being at
better
that
be. I'm just messing.
yeah, being at that age though, um, you talk about a transition. I'm going all in and getting into your Bible, into a church, not just going through the motions and getting in community and being all in your faith. And I think if I can couple that with what you just said, it's so cool because you're not going all in on church or religion. You're not going all in on your outward
Mhm.
appearance. You're
Yeah.
going all in on a relationship in your
Yeah.
heart and waking up saying, how can I honor God today because he loves me and he gave his only son
Amen.
for me because
Amen.
he saw my potential.
Mm.
Um, and he's calling me to a higher
Mm.
standard.
Amen.
And that's, I mean, I've said before on the podcast, like, that's the beauty of we're talking about a living God,
Yeah.
not behavior modification. Um, and I think that's such a good word. Um, if I can transition
Yeah.
to say on this podcast, I say growing up, I thought life was all about sports, but I know now sports are all about life. If you could pick one life lesson
Mm.
out of sports that you've seen ring true in your life, what would that be and how have you seen it apply?
Yeah, that's great. That's a great question. Uh, Appreciate that. That's man. I think sports is an awesome opportunity to learn a lot of lessons, and I think you have to be constantly ready for that. You have to be ready to evolve. You have to be ready to adjust and pivot and all these things. Again, I think it's in alignment with my story. It's in alignment with just consistently what we've talked about, and just what has transpired over my playing, coaching, faith career. It's the power of words. It's the power of relationships. And there's two moments that man, it's kind of like an emotional to even think about. There's two moments in my life that I remember the power of words hold true. And the first one came from my college coach, and it was after my last college game. We just gotten beat, and I'm sitting in the locker room, and everybody has already left, and I can't take my jersey off, and I'm sitting there, and I got my shoes on. I'm like, Coach, I can't take this off. And he's like, I know. He's like, it's hard, right? Because once I take that jersey off, like my college career is done. And he looks at me in the eye and he says, Gabe, he's like, you're going to be successful because of who you are, not because of the jersey that you have on. And
Mm,
like, man, like the power of words in that moment, never taking for granted the opportunity to speak into players is that reminder right there, right? The value that the impact that a coach can have, again, calling them into something. When I got the job at Bethel, Coach Slider was one of the first phone calls I made. And I told him that story. And he's like, Gabe, he's like, I remember us talking. He's like, I don't remember like specifically telling you that, but man, like I remember that, like him just speaking those words in the moment was huge. And then the last one came from my dad. And my dad and I had like a really, really good relationship growing up. Like I knew he loved me. Like he was a hard worker, ran a family business, and but like our view of love was like he was going to supply for our family. It wasn't lovey-dovey and all those type of things. Like he just wasn't a lovey-dovey type of dad. Like he's not one to come around and hug you and kiss you and all these things. Like he showed love by showing up to our games, by taking us to church on Sunday, by providing for our family, just demonstrating and imitating what hard work was. And it was my senior day of college basketball, and my mom and I are hand in hand walking out, and he stops me and he's like, Gabe, he's like, I love you. And I'm like, dude, let's go. Like just the power of words right there. Like my dad speaking into me that moment, him just saying like, I love you, man. And now as a dad, like you don't take for granted the moments that you get to tell your kids you love them, right? Don't take for granted the time that you get to speak into your players. And it's like the power of words and the power of relationship just, again, shapes who I am, shapes my life through and through. And those are two moments, two lessons that I just consistently and constantly think back to.
Man, that's powerful.
Yeah.
Did you like go off and drop 30 or what?
I think, I don't know, maybe 20. I don't know what it was. I think
Yeah.
we won, so that's all that matters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, that's beautiful. I have one more question for you. This is my last question.
This has been fun.
You're on the Dear Young Athlete podcast. So your job is to complete the statement, Dear Young Athlete blank. What would you say to your players, to a younger Gabe?
Yep. I think I would sum it up this way. Dear young athlete, you have to fight worthy of success. Whatever you want in quote unquote success in life, you got to fight worthy for that, right? Nothing's going to come easy. You have to, turn off the scoreboard, right? Yes, at the end of the game, you're going to see scores, but you have to give yourself the opportunity. You have to fight worthy for success. But on the flip side, right, Jesus Christ has already fought worthy for victory, right? Mm-hmm. So there's a difference between success, right, and what true victory is, and having that mindset of, yes, we are called to run the race to win, man. Fight worthy of success, but do it in a way that you already know, and you can live with the fact and this thought that Jesus has already fought worthy for victory.
Gabe Miller, everyone, you might have to write that down and put it in a book or something. There
you go.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Well, man, I appreciate so much your story, your wisdom, your faith. That's what I have. Want to leave it if you have a last word for us.
JT, no, man, I appreciate the time. This was awesome. You're doing awesome stuff. You're impacting, you're influencing a lot of people. So keep doing your thing, and hopefully we'll see you at a Bethel basketball game this year too.
Oh, definitely. My kids will be excited too. All right, Gabe, thank you.
Yeah, thank you, man. Have a good day.
And there you have it. One more episode in the books. Thank you so much for listening. As a reminder, make sure you subscribe in whatever platform you're on, that you leave a comment and rate and review. And I want to personally thank you for doing that. And I will see you in the next episode. Peace.